Hi, welcome back to the Harpreet Singh Show, and you're watching Tania's Truth Talk. And boy, do we have a guest for you today. He is on the air from Los Angeles, California. He is a famous celebrity lawyer and manager. He's worked on hundreds of cases involving very famous celebrities such as Anna Nicole Smith and more. And I would like to welcome you to the show. Cyrus, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show, Tania.
Oh, Cyrus, it's my honor. Now, you and I are going to be working a lot together in the future. You're going to be coming on my show here with various celebrities in which you have represented, and you've represented some fairly heavy hitters in the business, such as Larry King, Anna Nicole Smith, Jay Cutler. Ronnie Coleman, you've worked on cases involving Woody Harrelson, Tequila, just to mention a small handful of the hundreds of celebrities that you've worked with on actual landmark cases.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I've had a awfully accelerated career in that department. Fortunately, thank God.
Now, Cyrus, one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on for the first show that we do, that there's going to be a lot more to follow, is you're a man of faith, and you're on the Hollywood scene. I mean, you have to go to several red carpet events in a week sometimes. I mean, you were just at one last night, and you're working with a lot of people that are famous porn stars, a lot of people that fall prey to the typical Hollywood scene, and getting into the drug addiction and so on. And the Cyrus that I know, that I talk to on the phone every day for some time now, I mean, you're a very grounded guy. I mean, how do you stay grounded, especially being a man of faith, and not falling prey to the typical Hollywood scene like many people have, such as Lindsay Lohan, Justin Bieber's just recently been on the news, and there's been a lot of concern about him. I mean, just as a young child, he grew up as a Christian, and as soon as he got into the Hollywood scene, there's a lot of stuff breaking in the news about him today. So what would you say to that, from your experience as an attorney and a manager to hundreds of the stars? How
Well,
you deal with this?
well, first of all, thank you for the very nice compliments. The reason I got into originally entertainment law and then later on management of many of the celebrities was to help these people, along in their career, and help them not fall victim to the Hollywood chicanery and all the nefarious activities that go on. It's an awfully challenging environment, and it takes an awfully strong disposition frequently not to fall victim to those sort of things. Um, you know, there's Los Angeles is a very expensive place to live, and when you're getting started in your career, you need money. You got to pay the bills, and sometimes people, if you're in the modeling industry, for example, you may, people take up dancing or stripping or and later on prostitution. They get involved with drugs. Next thing you know, their career is spiraling very fast downhill, and this problem is all too common in Hollywood.
Let me just interject there, Cyrus. I mean, because obviously you and I are, we deal with a lot of the similar people, being that I'm the founder of Save the Women International, that rescues a lot of these porn stars, exotic dancers, escorts, and so on. And, a lot of the girls that you work with are models that have been on the front cover of, various magazines, Maxim magazine, and so on. And, the public can tend to get this idea that if you've made the front of a magazine cover that you've got a lot of money. But a lot of these magazines are paying peanuts. And when these girls are saying that they're a model, it is true that many of them are escorting on the side to try to make ends meet, especially in Hollywood with the prices of rent and so on.
That's correct. And a typical magazine cover, you get paid anywhere from 200 to 500 typically.
Right.
If you're very, very well established models, it just goes into the thousands, but it's not much money. And yes, it's very difficult and very challenging to pay your bills on that sort of thing.
Hmm. So what would you say to young girls that, let's say, they come to you and they want to, litigation, you to represent them in litigation, and they're a model, and they might have ended on the cover of something, and you're going to court for this, and you see these girls that are doing this on the side, or you say it's very common that once these young people get in onto the Hollywood scene, and they get a taste of the fame. You've seen it happen time and time again, where they fall into drug addiction and stuff, and then their career's done. So tell me about your experience with that.
Well, I've seen this literally hundreds of times over the years. Crying clients in my office, why did I do this? Why did I make this mistake? And there's some very simple safeguards that I think people can take when they come to Hollywood, not to fall victim to these sort of things. I would say, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
get a normal side job to pay your bills. Uh, Number one. Number two, stay in school if you can. Do like an online program so you can study on the side and maybe go to business school, whatever your suits you
Right.
intellectually. That's number two. That way you always have a career to fall back on.
Yes.
And then secondly, get a good manager that cares about you and that can spend the time with you, to take you to the right places, introduce you to the right people
Right.
that don't harm your life. Frequently, it's Hollywood itself. Some of the casting couch, as we all know the example. You want to stay away from that sort of thing, and a good manager will protect you. So I think
And
these and then go to church if religious if
yes.
religion is up your alley, that would always help.
Yes, and that's just a prime example of being the fact that I'm rescuing porn stars all the time, and you've got them coming into your office 3 hours late, and sleeping in from the night before, or what have you, and you see this a lot. Now, what would you say, Cyrus, being that you are a famous celebrity lawyer to many of the stars, to women that are even thinking of getting into porn? And now this is kind of a tricky question because you represent a lot of these porn stars, but being a matter like what would you say to women that are given opportunities to get heavily involved in porn? Would you recommend them to stay away from that, or from your experience?
Absolutely. I just don't think it's a significant career. It's just too emotionally challenging and draining. Like I said earlier, it takes an awfully strong disposition not to fall victim to these sort of things, and you
Right.
typically end up in jail or dead, or with a drug addiction, and that then defeats the whole purpose of your career. And then secondly, and most importantly, like when I represent these people, I do their image work and their endorsement work. So if they're on a product or an advertising campaign, that's what I actually do, and then that
Right.
makes them money. So they get a little side money, or sometimes it's a lot of money to survive and pay their bills. So
Right.
but basically, these safeguards are the best way to circumvent these nefarious activities.
But from your experience over the years, have you found that it is a pretty vast majority of people that once they do get a taste of the Hollywood lifestyle, that they fall into that scene, and ultimately can ruin their lives?
Yes, let me give you a statistic over all the years that I've practiced. I would say a third, just looking at the models in particular, a third of the models, male or female, do very bad things, and another third do kind of bad things, and then another third pass muster. Just to,
Okay.
just to give, so
Yes.
I think two-thirds really, and I think that two-thirds statistic is conservative, and
You know,
it's
that's from your experience, but I would probably say from my experience as being on the receiving end of rescuing them, it's probably much, much higher, because a lot of these women are not even admitting that they're doing that on the side. But we're going to get to a commercial break, Cyrus. Tune in after the commercial break to Tania's Truth Talk on the Harpreet Singh Show.